Yeah, whatever. So, hey everybody, welcome back to the Premier League Season 3. As always, I'm Basskip bringing you guys these games, and this is going to be our grand final. So it's Empire up against VP. Empire have come through the winner's bracket, so this is a best of 5, and they have a 1-game advantage. VP coming from the loser's bracket, just defeating Dignitas soundly. They are going to be over on the Radiant side, and they need to take 3 games to win this one, while Empire obviously only needs to take the 2. A reminder, as always, that this is just an unofficial cast by me, so a very big thank you to the Premier League for allowing me to cover these games. And that Triumph of Man and whoever his co-caster is going to be over on the Premier League stream. So Empire going to start us off with a ban on the Nyx, and VP actually a Shadow Demon ban to start. So a little bit unusual there. Bat or Wisp probably going to make it through the pool here. Empire will probably get one, though VP will be able to get their hands on the other. So we'll see what Empire choose to ban. If they ban one of the ban one of the Bat or the Wisp, then VP maybe get themselves a Magnus or a Bat. We'll have to see. But VP with the Shadow Demon ban, while it is a solid ban, it's not typical, and it mixes the draft up a little bit, which is interesting to see, and it's, I guess, VP going for something a little bit off the wall. I mean, the last time these teams met, which was in this very same tournament, Empire obviously advanced. They're coming from the winner's bracket, and VP from the loser's bracket. So Empire, what's it going to be? And look, they've been thrown for a loop a little bit by the Shadow Demon ban, trying to work out how the draft plays out. So they've got a couple of options in terms of bans, but this brings Darkseer into the equation as well, along with the Bounty Hunter. So Bounty's going to be banned, Bat is banned, Wisp stays in the pool, but so does Darkseer, along with the Magnus. So Wisp's going to be picked up by Empire. That's their first priority, but expect to see Darkseer or Magnus picked up with perhaps a support here by VP. If they're feeling cheeky, they could opt to pick up the CK or something like that as well, but no, it's Undying and CK, Undying and Keeper of the Light. And not sure, I've got CK on the brain, but we might see Empire go for it. But VP looks like it might be an offensive tri-lane for them. They've got 2 of the best offensive/defensive tri-lane heroes in the game, and I guess might turn a bit of Empire's own tactics around against them with maybe something like a Bane pickup. Empire, they're going to choose to take the Darkseer since he did remain in the pool. The Magnus is still there as well, but interesting to see that he isn't really getting priority by teams in this game, or even just in the Premier League matchups. And CK is going to be taken, so we are going to see some CK Wisp action in this game. Interesting to see if it's going to be a silent Wisp or if it's going to be a Funnic Wisp again. I mean, Empire really known for that Funnic Wisp, but Silent be showing that he's pretty solid on that Wisp play as well, and it means that they don't need to shift their team setup around as much, since obviously Funnic is typically the offlaner or a solo lane for Empire. It means that Go Black needs to be bumped up in priority, and then Silent sort of stays where he is, and everything ends up a little bit higgledy-piggledy. But VP, what's the last pickup going to be for them? If they really, really want to run this offensive tri-lane, then it's not a bad decision, because Wisp is a really bad laner. CK sort of holds his own ground, but it forces Empire into picking up the defensive support as their remaining one. So it's a pretty good choice, but they need to try and they need to execute that offensive tri-lane properly, and their other 2 lanes need to be very self-sufficient. I mean, we might see something like a silent Wisp and then Funnic playing one of those offlaners, and as we've seen, if Funnic gets off to a good start, he is easily able to win not only his own lane, but also head off and then try and win mid as well. And it doesn't matter if your offensive tri-lane is absolutely stomping the opposing team's defensive tri-lane. If you're losing your 2 solo lanes heavily because of one player, then that really spells trouble. So VP, they ban out the Bat, they ban out one of Funnic's strongest laners in that, and they might have something up their sleeve as well if we see something like a Clinks. So it's actually going to be Naga Siren here. So Naga Siren probably going to be the primary farmer in that aggressive tri-lane. We did see VP run a support Naga as well earlier on this evening, but I mean, it was picked up as a sort of a counter to Dirge, and it was a little bit weird, and it didn't really work out. But I mean, Naga Siren could be a support on that lane with Undying taking the farm, but I think it's just going to be Naga Siren as the as the sort of carry in that offensive tri lane. And she's actually a very good, she's a very good carry as far as carries go in offensive tri lanes. All of her ability, I mean, between the net and the nuke, she's not actually that carry oriented anymore compared to when she used to have crit as one of her abilities. That was her, well, that was her passive. But good setup for the Keeper of the Light, obviously, and not bad setup for the Undying either. He does need a little bit of time for those zombies to go to work. So, Queen of Pain and TA banned out by either side. We've got a Broodmother ban here by Empire, so they're trying to remove the solo safe laners that VP are comfortable with playing, and they have really shown their hands in terms of this offensive tri lane, but it's a question of whether or not Empire can deal with it. They could run something like a duo mid they could run a duo mid between the CK and the Wisp and send Darkseer down to try and deal with the offensive tri lane, but we'll see if Empire just opt to try and outmaneuver, because Wisp, he's obviously very, very weak in lane. Their remaining support, if it's not all that strong, it means that they're going to have trouble going 3v3, and yeah, from there they might just, I mean, that could spell trouble. So we saw VP running some really weird lanes to deal with Dignitas, and we'll see if Empire can do a similar thing to outmaneuver VP coming off the back of this draft. Empire choosing to ban out the Nature's Prophet. VP, not sure what the last ban might be for them, banning out a lot of Phoenix heroes. In fact, the Magnus removed from the pool as well. And what's the last ban going to be? Maybe debating this Clinks ban. But they could try and give themselves an easier time on a mid as well. Since they do have last pick, and there's still a couple of mids left in the pool, though all of the big ones, all the big names I suppose, have sort of been banned out. So I might see some Beastmasters or some Brewmasters or something like that for our mid lane this time around. And VP digging deep into their reserve time for this one as well. So in the end, they're going to ban out the Rubik. So I guess still hoping that Empire are going to be running this defensive tri lane, but I'm not 100% sure. I think they might just change tack entirely and have VP running around the map trying to figure out where they're laning this stuff. And it's a pretty good choice from Empire, I mean, or it could be a good choice, especially since they've got someone like the Darkseer who can be effective in any lane or even the jungle. And throwing the Windrunner into the mix as well makes things perhaps even a little bit more confusing right now for VP. So, Empire's lineup, there's not a whole lot of team fight for them right now. CK is obviously very single target oriented. Darkseer does bring quite a bit. The Wisp really centered on those pickoffs on the smaller scale engagements, and a similar story for Windrunner. All she wants is 2 targets to shackle together, and that's about it. Though VP heavier on the team fight. They've got good initiation from the Naga Siren. They've got fantastic team fight after that with a Cuddle Illuminate flying in over the top right as they cancel the song, and the Tombstone already being down, getting some zombies set up during that duration. So we'll see if VP just all in a little bit on the team fight. They're really looking for a mid and an offlaner right now, so interesting to see that they banned out the Quap, though Empire did have the first pick coming out of this phase. In terms of teamfights, what's still left in the pool? So it's actually going to be a Night Stalker that's more than likely going to be their mid, and then what is their solo safe laner going to be? They don't have a lot of illusion clearing power right now, which could be a little bit of a problem for them, especially if the CK is able to take this into the late game. And I mean, as we just saw in Navi versus 30 Max, for those of you who are there with me for that game, the Night Stalker can have troubles. He needs to get a very good first night, and when you're running an aggressive tri lane, it can be difficult. If you can't kill the offlaner with 2 heroes, then taking heroes off the offensive tri lane is too obvious, and the offlaner or the mid will just back off. And ganking into the defensive tri lane can be trouble as well. So Empire at last pick up the Chen. Are they not worried about this offensive tri lane? Do they have a better strategy? And Storm is actually going to be the pickup, so that's going to be played here by Airman KSI, actually playing the Naga Siren, so maybe a slightly more support-oriented Naga Siren, but we'll see how this works out for VP. A little bit unusual in terms of the draft, and running this Naga Siren one more time, we'll see how it plays out for them. But Empire, not sure what their lanes are going to be. They might just try and take control of top lane, maybe run an aggressive jungle Chen, try and get some early towers down, see if VP are just going to be running their offensive tri-lane down on bot, since between the Chen and the Wisp, their supports kind of suck early game. I mean, frankly, Chen, maybe if he finds a Wildkin or something like that, can come and disrupt an aggressive tri-lane, but Wisp doesn't bring all that much to the table, and this could be trouble, though they could just opt to run something like the CK on mid. So we've had a quick pause, so I'll just run over who's playing what. So on Empire, we can have Blow Your Brain on the Chaos Knight. Funnick is going to be on the Wisp. Scandal is on the Winner. Go Black is on the Chen, and he's actually pretty well known for his Chen, so keep an eye on that. And Silent is actually going to be on the Darkseer, so we see a Funnick Wisp this time around, and a Silent Darkseer. It's a little bit of a mix-up from what we've seen in the past, though the Funnick Wisp isn't all that unusual, and Funnick and Blow Your Brain are just so renowned for the CK Wisp combo. They play it to absolute perfection. Over on VP side, KSI is going to be on this Naga Siren, so maybe a slightly more support-oriented Naga Siren in this case. Santa is going to be on the Undying. Airman on the Storm Spirit. Crazy, or now playing as TA Me My Wild, or Tame My Wild, is going to be on the Night Stalker, and NS is going to be on that Keeper of the Light. And I like to imagine that KS is the sound of the Illuminate channeling, but I think it's completely unrelated. So I'll stop my psychotic ramblings, and hopefully we'll have an unpause and we'll be able to get underway with this game, so I'll actually have something to talk about. Sizing up both lineups, VP may be a little bit stronger in the team fight, but they're still pretty pick-off oriented. They've got a Storm Spirit and the Night Stalker as those last two picks. So still, it's a really ganking oriented lineup for them, and a similar story for Empire, but though they do have a little bit more group up and push between the Chen and the Darkseer. And I guess one thing that's worth mentioning is the Chen is a pretty synergistic pick with the Wisp. You can do some, well, I guess you can do some weird things with Wisp. If he's in trouble, he can relocate. So if CK and Wisp are in trouble, for example, say they're diving the tower on top, right? And they didn't relocate in, they just walked in. And then there's a relocate back to base, or relocate to wherever Chen is. They drop off Blow Your Brain, and then Go Black uses the send back to time Funnick with the relocate, so he doesn't get stranded in the middle of nowhere. The other big synergy is obviously with the Hand of God. If Funnick is low enough, then the Hand of God is going to be transferred through the tether, and it's a double Hand of God for whoever he's tethered to. So that's a lot of the synergy there. It's a pretty nice pickup. We'll see how aggressive VP can go early on in this game to try and punish what is honestly a fairly greedy lineup from Empire, and a fairly weak early game lineup as well. We might see something like a very defensive, this defensive parallelogram that I've sort of mentioned before between these four towers, making use of their entire jungle. So they've always got the Darkseer and the Chen just waiting in the wings if anything bad happens down on bot. And yeah, Scandal's playing the Winner, so that's probably just going to be a mid Winner. I don't know if Silent is going to be on the off lane. Might start off in jungle at least a little bit. And still paused for now. So NS just needs a minute. So tactics time. VP, okay, what's the big deal for them right now? They need to find their aggressive tri-lane actually needs to go pretty well. They're very kill oriented in terms of finding farm. They don't really have great push. They really want this Undying to get some farm up. Otherwise, the Tombstone is going to be food later on in the game. And whenever you pick the Undying, it's a pretty big deal because you need to be making use of the pick. If you pick Undying and you run a defensive tri-lane and you just have him pulling, and then by the time he has rank 4 Tombstone, there's enough damage on the enemy team to just right-click it down, then the Undying hasn't really paid for itself in terms of the pick. I mean, Decay and Tombstone and Soul Rip are all so great on the early levels. So here we go. And VP, right out of the blocks, heading down towards bot. KSI, Ring of Protection picked up, and in an offensive tri-lane, seeing who's going for that Ring of Protection is always a pretty good indicator of who's getting the farm, since they're going to be picking up the Bazzi, which is so important in a tri-lane, just in terms of having that armor, and being able to influence the lane a little bit as well. If you want to push, you can turn it on. If you want to pull back, you can obviously turn it off. And you can even just sit there toggling it to try and screw up the enemy team's last hits. But Empire, they're doing something very similar to what VP did against Dignitas, just sending one hero down towards bot to soak up XP. So just treating this like the off lane. It is the safe lane, you know, as we know it, but when you've got an offensive tri lane, the 3v1 is just effectively a suicide lane, and Scandal's even got the additional benefit of this being the Radiant safe lane, which is extremely difficult to gank and dive into. All of VP are being spotted out by this Observer Ward right now, so we probably won't see any action to start off. I'll have a quick check-in on starting items. Silent hasn't been pulled. Anything, he's got a stat shield picked up. Bloody Brain heading towards mid right now. Funnick just off to the side. They've got some obs and some sentries. They do need control of their jungle, and even more sentries picked up by Go Black as well. So they're going to be looking to deward literally everything in just a second. Though NS, oh, no mischance there. Well, no unlucky miss for him. So managing to clean up the obs. Go Black throws down the sentry, but to no avail. Scandal just hiding down on bot, and it is going to be this offensive tri lane from VP right now. Again, it's got really good kill potential, but it's only up against a winner, and she just needs to stay in XP range to be doing her job right now. So Empire do exactly what VP did to Dignitas. They send the carry mid. It's up against another melee mid, so it's not the worst setup for him in the world, and they're able to do this as well just because of the draft. They banned out a lot of the ranged mids, sort of forced it into a melee versus melee matchup. So Empire are going to be pretty happy with how this works out, and VP, they've got some okay push between these heroes on bot. They can try and put some pressure on and force some reaction out, but Go Black already center ward's down, and he's got a Wildkin War Chief as one of his very first creeps. He's a bit of a lucky sod, and KSI's going to have to use a net to try and cancel this channel. Otherwise, they're going to be eating a lot of damage and just be forced to back off, which is free XP room for Scandal. And I mean, this tornado is a tri-lane ender. Look at the damage that KSI is, the damage that KSI is taking standing in the eye of the storm, and even Santa a little bit further away being burned down. So Go Black, with that one lucky pickoff of the Wildkin, shuts down the aggression on this bottom lane at least for a little while. I mean, NS comes back, he's already down at half HP, and first blood drawn on mid. Yeesh. Sorry about that, guys, missing that kill, but Blow and Funnick finding a nice pickoff on Crazy, and he's actually in trouble. That really set his bottle back, trying to farm up a little bit, but now eating some spirits, and does need to be careful, though they don't quite have a combo up just yet. So Empire's aggression isn't going to be there for a little bit. Though Funnick, Clarity, Tether, that mana is going to be there in just a second. Though the Illuminate comes in from the side. NS now rotating his way up. So a good reaction from VP, seeing that Scandal is just down on bot and there's not really any hope of killing him. So yeah, everything working out really well for Empire right now. And yep, looks like they were running some small camp pulls just off to the side, using the tether to cut down the trees, and then just running those small camp and then into the large camp pulls the wave all the way back, and looks like that was what got NS in trouble. The Reality Rift doesn't connect. There's the Reality Rift into the tether. They don't have the follow-up stun, and Blow's actually in trouble. A few more right clicks might kill him off, though Funnick finds that kill with the spirits. He will die in exchange, so it's 1-for-1, and NS is actually there for that XP, going forward aggressively on Blow. He doesn't have a stun, and Reverse Polarity actually not up just yet. NS needs to be careful, and as I say that, I miss another kill up on top. Silent actually able to kill off Airman with Go Black with a huge rotation up towards top lane, bringing the Centaur up. And Storm very easily ganked before level 6, so good movement from Empire. They're now leading 3-1, and both of these, well, what would typically be the solo versus solo lanes, working out really well for them. I mean, VP are finding farm, but they're sort of the more aggressive side right now, and once it comes to group up and push, I think you sort of have to give a little bit of an upper hand to Empire. Crazy's going to die one more time on mid. This duo mid is working out fantastically, and Funnick's already got his bottle finished up, so it's pretty much infinite aggression from them. And VP might even need to just commit a support to mid if they want to get any farm on this Night Stalker, and the first Night isn't going to be anything for him. Silence now sent back to base. Skullblock's going to pick up a little bit of farm. Airman can't even look to jump him right now. And actually going for an Overload build as opposed to an Electric Vortex build. The standard build is 1-1-1 and then 3 Electric Vortex, but actually opting for more Overload in this game. So Funnick finds himself the 4-minute rune. We've got a support coming in towards mid, so NS is still just hanging out here, trying to get some farm up on Crazy, but he's just gone straight back for boots. He doesn't actually have a bottle. There's nothing on the courier. He doesn't have all that many last hits, and he doesn't have enough farm to have bottle and boots right now. So the first night is going to be atrocious. Frankly, I mean, VP, not sure what they can look to do to try and bring this back, but they definitely need to try and get at least a little bit of farm up on the Night Stalker. Night Stalker as a hero is a big investment. You need him to have a really good time while he's weak, and then have a really good time when he's strong. If he keeps being killed off, then he just doesn't have the strength to be manning up and diving towers and doing exactly what Night Stalker does best. Scandal already up to level 5 down on this bottom lane, and Empire probably pulling ahead in terms of XP since they have a true jungler. They're making full use of all of their lanes, and one more kill going on mid. Crazy dies again. Empire just don't care. It's level 5 on the CK, level 6 on the CK, level 5 on the Wisp. There's a 3-second stun. Go Black is here as well, and NS going to be cleaned up. Absolutely no problem. Empire extend their lead out to 5 kills. And VP sending hero after hero on mid, but all they find is death, and it's such a lethal combo. And I guess if, for anyone who's unfamiliar with the mechanics of the CK Wisp combo, one of the biggest things is that because of how Reality Rift works, every single time Wisp is tethered to CK and you Reality Rift someone, you always get the tether stun. So you wait until you're pretty low on the tether duration and you've got a full set of spirits, then you go for the Reality Rift, you get 1 tether stun, you refresh the tether for a 2nd stun after you throw down the Chaos Bolt, and barely anyone could survive it. It's way too much burst damage. So we've got a Reality Rift going. It's a 3-second stun on Crazy. He's in trouble. The spirits come in, and NS is going to throw down the Illuminate, but doesn't hit on anyone. Empire juking off to the side. Funnick, no bottle charges up at the 6-minute rune. Spawns on bot. Scandal actually forced to pick that one up. Santa comes in, but it's only a rank 1 tombstone. Scandal doesn't care. He's going to pop the winner and just right-click that one down for a free 70 gold.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So things are not looking really good for VP. I mean, we're into the first night, but Crazy is only level 4, and he is not a threat to anyone at the moment. He's not a threat to Winner. He's not a threat to either of the mid heroes. He's not a threat to Darkseer. He's now up to level 8, and he's definitely, well, maybe a threat to the Chen, but I don't think Go Black is going to be dealing with the Night Stalker all that much. And they've now got the relocate up, so that's a relocate down towards bot. KSI the target, Reality Rifted back into the tether. They haven't even used the stun yet. Using the stun on Santa, and that's going to be another kill going the way of Empire. And duo mid, straight into ganks all around the map. We've got a little bit of action happening up on top. Silent dropping low. Airman looks like he's going to be able to pick up this kill. One more roll just for the overcharge damage, and yeah, one right click secures him that one. So a bit of an exchange. But Airman has already died twice, so it's recovery time for him. He's behind, and now he's catching back up. It's not that he's getting ahead and getting farmed as the Storm. And I'm not sure why I'm checking that. I just wanted to check Gold and XP, which are both heavily in favor of Empire. Right now, we've got Funnick and Blow coming up with a smoke. They don't manage to find the tether stone, but a 2-second is enough to kill off Airman. And NS is the target, but there's just too much move speed from the tether. He's going to be dead. I mean, NS is going to try and, the actual NS, as a Night Stalker, is going to come in to try and put an end to this. Santa's here as well, but Funnick just tethers his way up, and they are going to be fine. Again, if they're in trouble, they can wait around for the, well, don't even need to wait around for the relocate. They're just manning up. 2-man tether stun there. Spirit's doing huge damage. 2-second stun. Santa solo rips himself up. Finding the target. The Hand of God pops. Don't get the double heal. There's a tether back. And now the target is Crazy. Vacuum. Can they find the Reality Rift? Using the stun first. It's a 4-second. Easy kill. Picked up by Funnick. The Spirits are there. They are fighting on top of the Tombstone, but it's not even all that relevant. Koblak comes up with a double damage, and Empire extend their lead out to 10 kills. And now the relocate down towards bot. KSI is all the way down in these trees. He's going to pop off the Song of the Siren. So putting an end to that one. But that's all he can do. He can escape, and that's a 3-minute cooldown used. Not even sure why he was diving Scandal underneath the tower. Scandal was on full HP and had Winner up. So that was a little bit weird. I guess he baited out the relocate. But he traded a relocate for a Song of the Siren, which is not the best exchange. I mean, I guess the other big advantage of the Naga Siren in this game, and this might be what VP are thinking, if this ends up later on in the game, if they're going for a big push and Empire try and relocate people in, they can waste most of the duration with the Song of the Siren, and then force the Wisp back. Maybe he drags the carry back as well. But Empire, they claim the tier 1 on top, and they are just in a great spot right now. I mean, they're up 10 kills, they're up a whole bunch of farm. Airman can't really be all that aggressive. He doesn't have anything with 3 deaths. So just none of these lanes really working out. Having a quick check-in on the net worth. KSI is doing okay, but everyone else on Empire is, everyone else over on VP, sorry, is at the bottom of this stack. So VP go for a group up and push, but they're trading away the tier 2 on top for a tier 1. So this is desperation tactics to try and get a little bit more gold online. I mean, nobody's got anything. Everybody's got brown boots, and that's the extent of it. There's a wand on the Night Stalker. KSI's got a Soul Ring and Tranquils, and he's the most farmed hero right now on VP. So this tower gold is desperately needed, but the tier 2 has already been taken, and Empire just in a position to stay as 5 and just keep looking for kills. And they're considering the relocate right now, seeing if anyone is going to be splitting off to the group. And NS looks like he's sort of obliging, heading over to grab a TP scroll. Though Empire just staying grouped up for now. Scandal actually heading down. He's now got his mech finished up. Empire have all the tools they really need to finish off these remaining towers. There's still tier 1s on mid and on bot. So there's a lot of gold sort of stored up there for them. But despite that, they've already got a 7.5k gold lead. I mean, VP are actually down a 1 tower deficit. But they're looking to even that up. They're losing a tier 1 on mid and maybe trying to grab a tier 2 on bot. They don't have great push potential, however. So we'll see how this works out for them. And they're just using most of this nighttime to actually farm. It's not a bad decision since, I mean, Crazy can't really make all that much happen, but Blow's already picked up the tier 1 on mid, and they've only just clashed up against the tier 2 down on bot. It's down in about half HP, but TP's coming in, and the relocate now happening as well. Crazy trying to do what he can, heading off into the trees, but Spirit's doing huge damage, and Blow in a little bit of trouble, but a huge vacuum hits on everyone. KSI, 2 seconds down on him. He's going to be killed off. A few rolls through from Airman, but 1 dead already, and the Reality Earth back. Nice shackle. Picking up that kill, Airman burning down, the nuke from Go Black, and then the power shot through, killing off NS. This is just a slaughterhouse. Yeah, GG well played, going to be called by VP at 11 minutes into this game. Empire are just looking fantastic right now. And CK Wisp, I mean, it looked like VP were getting themselves in a pretty good position, right, in terms of the draft, but they showed their hand really, really early. The first 3 heroes that they picked were for this offensive tri-lane. And just immediately, Empire said, okay, we'll just treat it like our offlane. We'll just put our winner here, she'll get farm, and that's fine. And we're going to duo mid, and it'll work out fantastically. So I think that's really the story of the game. Anyway, I've been Basskip. This is the Premier League Season 3 Grand Finals. This was game 1 of our best of 5 set, though Empire did start with a 1-game advantage, so they're now up 2 and only need to win 1 to clinch out this entire tournament. A reminder, as always, that I am just an unofficial caster, so a very big thank you to the Premier League for allowing me to cast these matches, and a reminder that over on the Premier League stream, Triumph of Man is covering this tournament as well. So thanks everyone for tuning in, and I will see you guys for the next game very, very soon.